Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's hard mode can be quite a challenge, and so in today's video, I'll be providing you with some tips to help you prevail over some tricky situations, regardless of if you're a newcomer to hard mode or if you're somebody who's tackled hard mode in Remake. As a quick refresher, hard mode in this game works much like it does in FF7 Remake, where enemies will hit harder, take less damage overall, and you won't be able to use any items whatsoever, meaning that MP now suddenly becomes a precious resource. With that said, let's dive right in. First up is a list of materia that I highly recommend you use throughout your playtime in hard mode. It's important to note that there is no winning combo of materia, specifically as you'll have to adjust your loadout on the fly depending on whatever enemy or boss you're currently facing. With that said, I think it's important that each member of your party have the following materia in their loadout. Every member of your party should have a healing materia, and at least one party member should have healing plus magnify to allow for a group heal immediately, or pray, which works effectively the same, albeit it can be less potent depending on the amount of health that you have, and of course it doesn't actually use any MP whatsoever, as it's simply an ability. The precision defense materia is quite vital. It allows you to negate all incoming damage, even things that could potentially one-shot you, by simply timing it well, and this materia makes that timing easier. That should also be paired with the steadfast block materia, which allows you to reduce the amount of damage you take when guarding. This effectively acts as a little bit of a backup if perhaps you end up guarding a little too early for that precision guard, or overall is just quite useful when you know you're facing an attack that you can't dodge out of. It's also certainly worth taking advantage of an elemental materia, which allows you to affix a specific element to your standard attacks. The elemental materia might not add a huge buff to your overall damage, but every little helps, especially when on hard mode. Provided you've made sure to pick up the best gear that you're able to at the end of your initial playthrough, you should still have plenty of leftover materia slots to equip your character to suit whatever situation you're currently facing. Moving on, we come to synergy skills. Synergy skills are going to be your absolute best friend in hard mode, even more so than they were whenever you're playing on dynamic or even normal. Specifically, the defensive skills such as counterfire, iron defense, bodyguard, and slip and slide are going to be your best friends in that they negate a substantial amount of damage that is coming your way. I cannot count the amount of times where an attack was coming my way from a boss that I knew would just wipe me out or just stunlock me to death, where a synergy skill saved my ass entirely. In a lot of instances, going for a defensive synergy skill as opposed to a perfect guard often is the preferred outcome, as the timing is far more lenient, and thus the risk is less. Even some of the synergy skills like counterfire or slip and slide, which have a timing element to them, are far more generous than a precision guard, and so they should be used to full effect. They also have the added benefit of rapidly building ATB, and in a lot of instances, also rapidly building your limit break. On the other side of the spectrum, if there was one offensive synergy skill that I had to recommend, hands down it has to be Spellblade. Not only does it output an immense amount of damage at the cost of no ATB whatsoever, it also has more range than Power Blade, which makes it a decisive winner. The only drawback to Spellblade, of course, is the initial charge-up time, so just keep that in mind when you're pulling one of these off. Moving on to one of the most broken tactics that I've come across and something that I've used myself to great effect, and that is the limit ciphered materia. As the name of the materia implies, you're able to siphon the limit break built with some of your party members onto whoever you currently have the materia equipped on. You then equip to the same character the enhanced expeditionary medal accessory, which allows them to start a fight with the level 3 limit break already attainable, and simply focusing on the use of defensive synergy skills to slowly control the amount of damage you take, and thus slowly but surely building up your limit break across all of your characters, you're then able to simply siphon away this to your allotted character, allowing you to use their level 3 limit break quite early on in a lot of your encounters. To go one step further, you can even equip the limit booster accessory to another of your party members, which allows them to start a fight with half of their limit break bar already filled, coupling this with the limit siphon ability, and again, you have early access to a very powerful attack which can decimate groups of enemies and bosses as well. As an additional tip when facing bosses, make sure to use your limit break as soon as the enemy becomes staggered, and during the limit break animation, be sure to switch over to Tifa and begin building stagger whilst your other party member does their limit break, allowing you to further capitalize on a boss's moment of weakness. Moving on to my final tip, don't ignore the quests on hard mode. I know the temptation can be there, especially if, like myself, you ended up doing all of the quests and pretty much 100%ing the game and all the mini-games on normal mode before moving on to hard, but you do gain extra manuscripts whenever you complete specific quests on hard mode, and so it's worth taking the time to go out there and do them. Particularly because some of your party members' best abilities and even level 3 limit breaks are locked away all the way at the very end of your folio tree. Some party members even feature the reprieve ability in their folio tree, which allows them to survive a lethal blow with just 1 HP. I don't think I need to explain why that can be a lifesaver in certain situations, especially on hard mode. These same manuscripts also contribute to your overall weapon level, allowing you to unlock new weapon skills such as reprieve, which again are quite vital in certain instances. And so that wraps up my top tips for FF7 Rebirth's hard mode. If you found this video helpful at all, do be sure to leave a like and subscribe, as there's more FF7 content on the way. And if you feel as though there's any top tips that I might have missed that you found incredibly helpful, put them down in the comments below. With all that said and done, it has been me, DevilNeverCry. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. As always, I'll see you all next video.